So, Robbie,
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Yeah, Monday. This is different.
Yeah.
Way different.
We're kind of like taking this a little serious here now. We're trying to get this.
Well,
So
the weather's going to get serious on us.
yeah, it is. So, yeah, we left off Friday and we were preparing this to, this is the main gate plate, the blade, and the I-beam. So we're match drilling this to their, we're drilling it right in place, just exactly where it's going to live. And we got one wild hole right here, and it is directional. I mean, it's only going to be able to be assembled one way.
One way, yeah.
Doing a little bit of maintenance here right off the bat. The thumb ripper, thumb screw that controls the quill up and down on my mag drill. Apparently, that's the trouble with mag drills. They get lent out and come back, and things have mysteriously happened like that. The thumb ripper and half of the
The gauge.
the ruler is gone. I don't know. Yeah, I bought this brand new too. I mean, that's
40 years ago.
mid 90s. Yeah. Yeah.
Pushing 40 years.
So yeah. So we've got, and because I'm not dirty enough, quick enough yet, I got some Never-Sees out, and I found these nice old flattened thumb screws, the old 1930s kind of style. I put them up in my stock room.
And you found them.
Weeks ago, months ago. I was like, ooh, I got a thumb screw. I know I do. And I somehow managed to walk right to it. So we're going to get that fixed up, and we're going to drill. And then we're going to countersink. And we got wedge washers.
We got wedge.
Exciting stuff. Yeah, yeah, there's the wedge washer.
Wedge washer right there.
Yeah, hang on. The camera is, yeah, there.
Yeah, wedge washer.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks to the nice people at McMaster Car for the stainless steel bolts.
All fits together.
Yeah, we are going to countersink those, so stand by. And yeah, so we're going to have at it. We're going to get both of these gates made up the beginning of the week here and get this going, get them galvanized so we can get going. So we'll come back to it while this doing what? Drilling. Yeah, awesome. Hey, suppose we ought to have the broken wire part hanging over the edge of the jagged steel. and it finds its way right back. Yeah. Perfect. So if the plate starts to tingle,
get off it.
Yeah, just hold on to it for another like 5 minutes. The thumb screw works so good.
Yeah. Is this where we're supposed to have our garden sprayer with the soapy water?
Yeah, we could, I guess. Well, don't we have it?
Yeah, well,
That is kind of like soapy water.
yeah, soapy. It's just not a garden sprayer.
So that's our last two holes for this plate. I gotta go find a countersink, and we're gonna countersink our way back down.
Just ahead. Good. Yeah, definitely reveal.
See how we like it. Yeah, that's good.
It's good.
Yeah, so we'll just slide over and
Hit that last hole.
yeah, then we'll just show them can show our viewing audience the countersink. Yeah, she won't let go. Come on, baby. On. We set them down in there a little extra because the galvanized is going to take up some space, so we don't want the
Head to stick above.
Head stick up above, yeah. So that went actually pretty good. Multi-flute countersink, 7/8 multi-flute countersink. No, actually that's a 1-inch, and this guy here, the head of that's 7/8. So that's a win there. And we got to put a little bit of a detail. We got to do a little work to the end of this, and I think we're going to weld a cleat on that just as a little stopper. To just, it's not going to be a lot of shear action on this thing, but if we put a little, I think we're going to put a little block right here. Just put a little pad right here. We'll hold it up like an 1/8. I mean, this isn't supposed to be acting like a chisel, but I mean, I think it might be a good idea to just put a little piece here.
It's possible that it could try.
Yeah. And then we gotta cut that off to length and put a cap piece on it. And then, so that's ×2. So this is the main gate, and we're gonna turn around and do the bypass gate too, right? Like next. I think we'll weld like a, what do you think? Weld a 1 and a 2 on the stems.
Yeah, something,
or
so we
just
know.
something so we can
Identify
know
them.
that number 1 is the main gate, and number 2 is the bypass gate. So
Because they're going to look pretty close to the
there's not gonna
same.
be a lot of difference between them. Just say flailing around when we get them back from galvanized. Seems
Yeah.
like if we weld that up top there at the business end, at the at the place where it's going to be above the gate,
Yep.
that would be a good spot for it.
So we've gotten our holes countersunk. We're in the process now of making a drogue so that in case there's some misalignment when this tries to close, it doesn't act as a big knife and try to cut our concrete off.
Square edge, and it
Yeah,
just rams
square
into
edge. We're also going to round this leading edge a little bit, probably from here down around, so that it's rounded should it contact something that it shouldn't.
Just make it slippery.
Yeah,
but,
it's gonna make
just
it
round
slippery.
round up the edges, and
Yeah, make
just
it
so
so
it has
it's
a little
fine.
bit of a ramp.
So we've decided we're going to go get the Eagle and pick this thing up, take it outside, do some deburring on the back side of the holes, do some rounding, clean up where the plasma cutter cut it. And
We're gonna lay that. We're gonna lay that
lay
little.
this
We're
out.
gonna lay out our cut before we take the plate off, though.
Yeah.
Like coming right up. What do you think, Bet? That's my German Shepherd, Betty. I don't know if she's been in the videos yet, has she? The chickens
maybe a
made
little
the
bit.
chickens
Chicken
made
made
some
it.
appearances, but
Yeah,
so where are we at now? We had to find lunch.
yeah, we went and had lunch, and now we got to see about modifying the beam. We've got to cut this end off and build a ramp. And the other end, we've got to cut 6 inches off to get it the right height.
All right. So, and then we got the plate out
gotta
there.
do
We just
some-
move that out, and
Body working on that.
yeah, we got to body work that up a little bit. But we're gonna pick this beam up with the crane, swing it around to the saw, cut the end off of it there, and then we're going to probably we'll lay that out and just cut that with a porta band.
Yeah.
Robbie's not just another pretty face, you know. I mean, he's an estimator. He hit that strap location dead on. Are you regaling in that?
I'm impressed.
Me too.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah. All right, run her down. I think the crane's gonna be our stand.
Ready?
Yep. Yeah, let me see if I can help you out. I'll stuff it up. I got that. Tell me what you want to do. It wants one of those.
Right about there. It's you gotta go swing that way a little. Good, right there. You gotta go down with that.
Right.
Just a hair. A little more. More.
It's pretty big hair.
More. Just a.
I'll
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
How about if we actually use a level?
Yeah, good.
Could we do something crazy like that? Cut real good. It's gonna cut real good through the plan, but down through the web.
Slightly high to that side, and I mean ever so slightly. Hey, look at that.
You could have cut. You could have cut with a torch, or you could have cut with a whatever. But all that grinding and stuff. Yeah. So we got that notch. We're gonna notch that. We're gonna cut that right on that line right there. That second one out, and then we're gonna cut in. So I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut this in, and I'm gonna cut it down. Yeah. So now we're going to cut down. Might need a battery.
Yeah.
Had a little bag in it there. I was kind of like,
Close.
little wonky. So, cooler heads have prevailed, and we're just going to take the piece we cut out. Oops, as I bounce everything around. You can see the line we got scribed in there, so I'm just going to snip that off with the trusty quarter band, and we're going to V that out and cook that right back in there, and that's going to be our little drogue, our little ramp that we hope we don't ever need, but
it's there if it's needed.
It's there if it's needed. So we're going to snip this right here. Oh, shooting there, Tex. Yeah. Doesn't help that I'm standing on the other part of the stand for the Bay 2 turbine, Bay 1 turbine.
Yeah.
Nice. Even the blind squirrel gets a nut once in a while. Just talking about squirrels and acorns?
Yeah. Yeah, we were.
In case anybody was wondering, it's a big acorn year in Maine this year, but not a big squirrel year.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Because the last year that it was a big acorn year, half the squirrels got killed.
Yeah, out the road.
I think the little bastards would reproduce at a better rate. Alright, let's see what we did. Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
A little bit of grinding.
Yeah.
A little bit of welding.
Should be chrome.
Buff that up. You know what? Speaking of chrome, that's going to be my weld prep right there, chummy. Weld that right in.
So what are we cutting out now?
We're cutting out the plates that are going to be the end caps for the beams, plus the lower piston eyes that are going to bolt to the beams to actually pick the gates up and down. Instead of them being all one welded thing, we got some alignment we have to do once we get further down the road.
Now, I noticed you've got a piece of 5/8 threaded rod in underneath here. Are you cutting that off too, or what's the story with that?
No, just a little trick for the saw. We've got the plate tipped up. These blades, bandsaw blades, cutting real good. They really only want to have so many teeth in the work. You know, like if you're cutting right across the flat of this thing. So a trick to do is to tip it up a little bit so it cuts. The blade's cutting this way, so it's got less amount of teeth in the work. It's less likely to prone when it's deep in the channel. I mean, this is half-inch plate. It's not like we're cutting it wicked thick, but still it helps. It clears the gullets in the saw blade, gives it an opportunity to fall out, and it doesn't cut and drag in there, and that's what breaks the teeth off the saw blade is when they get hot. I mean, we got plenty of oil. But, so I always just tip them up a little bit, just so it's cutting, I mean, exaggerating, but
Slight
cutting
angle.
through it so it thinks it makes it think, the blade thinks it's a thinner wall thickness, so it cuts better because you're only presenting that much to it. So, pretty
Neat little trick.
old trick. Yeah, no, that's an old trick. That's an old trick. Nope. My World War II machinist mentor taught that to me. Actually beat that into my head. Literally. That's the universal symbol for where's the rag.
Where? Right there, right where you left it. Hey,
everybody at home knows that now.
Yeah.
When you see somebody standing there, something like that, it's like,
Quick, get him a rag.
it could mean other things, I guess. Yeah, so this is like one of those very rare occurrences that ever happens. The only thing we're wasting on this piece of bar stock is the sawdust. We divided this up so that, I mean, totally accidentally, but we're going to take credit for it. That there's zero wasted material. It's going to divide up exactly what we wanted. So
doesn't happen often.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen every day. But good, man.
We'll
And
take
the sun's coming out. And it's been like a 4-day full moon. It has.
It has. Well, chap, I knew you couldn't go the day without using your favorite tool.
Shocking. Yeah, we're drilling more holes.
What are we drilling?
So, these are the cap pieces for the beams, for the stems, for the main gates, and we're also, it occurred to Robbie that we should cut all of the pieces that are going to mate to them too, so that's what it is. There's a cap piece for both of the stems, for the main gate and the bypass gate, and the mating piece for the hydraulic piston, the lower end of each hydraulic piston that's going to open and close them. So, you know, you can just pick whichever ones you want. There's 4 of them there, but they're all going to be sistered together. So they're going to be the same dimensions, so we just stacked them all up. I tacked them together, and we yanked the swivel vise out of the way, and we got it set up with 2 Armstrong table clamps. And the pilot drill is going to be 7/16 because that's what's in the quick connect. And that's one of the pistons right there. And the other piston is laying underneath my big welding bench. So that has never been used. Yeah, so we're going to drill shocking, we're going to drill some more holes, but we are. So we got 2 Armstrong table clamps. We got the stack of those pieces tacked together, clamped on a piece of 1x2 flat bar just so we don't drill into the table. The pilot drill, I laid these out, center punched them real heavily, and so 7/16 drill is going to be the pilot drill, and we're just blasting down through them at 8 thousandths per revolution feed. It goes real good. We tacked them together and saved 4 layouts, and they're all going to be match drilled. So except for it just thought it was
done.
Yeah, that was there's a ring on this. Yeah. There's a ring on here where it'll clutch itself out. But wherever it finds the 0, it clutches itself out. It was on the bottom. So a quick connect. It's quite a benefit. That's 9/16. Just chasing a 7/16 hole. So it's not really cutting too much. Now I just found the 0 again. Here. There we go. It's really breezing down through there. I can do it like this by hand. I'm not even leaning on it. Not really stressing the machine at all. It is making a mess. Once again, Snap-on with Milwaukee battery. try it.
So what are we building here?
So this is our drogue that's going to hang down past the gate. And earlier we just cut a piece off here. That's the actual piece that I cut off. I was going to make something T-shaped, but it's like, yeah, guess what? I'm going to do that. So I got this coped out. We just drilled that stack of flat bars, but so we're going to cook this in while this end is at the door end of the shop. I've got it all ground up, and I got a welder right there. I'm going to fry that right now. I'm just going to put this on here with a clamp and clamp that, tacky tack, and flip it over and tack it some more and then cook it.
So basically that's just so if the gate isn't quite in line with the opening,
exactly,
it guides it into place.
It just gives it a little ramp to help the nose of the gate close the threshold. So I'm going to just set that in there. Just kind of look at my weld prep, which I like. And I just fared this back here a little bit with a portaband. There's no real specific dimension that it has to be. I just wanted to have some kind of a ramp there to aid the gate to close, just in case.
Welder ain't on, is it?
No, it's
I was
not.
gonna say it sounds quiet.
Hell of a tender you are.
Yeah. Okay, it's making noise now.
Now it's on. Yeah, that breeze is not helping us. So,
There it is.
win or loss or medium?
It was a win
I
today.
think it's a win.
Yeah, we've got
So
a
there's
drogue all belt.
so there's the little ramp right there. So it's gonna, if there's a problem, and it's not gonna be that big of, it's just gonna go up and help that find its way. It's exaggeratedly angled, but that's the space we had, so that's what we went with.
Yeah. And then we've got a plate at the top
Yeah,
to attach the
yeah,
pistons.
those plates that we were drilling, that's what that's gonna do. Yeah, disregard the misery bench full of tools. We're gifted at getting tools out. Yeah, so there's that.